Hi everyone, this is Paris Debono of the Fortune Teller Shop. Now I've been a professional fortune teller since 1990 and I'm fascinated with all things fortune telling. Tarot cards, palmistry, gypsy cards, anything fortune telling, I'm really into it. Now I'm going to review a movie called Night Tide that was made in 1961, starring Dennis Hopper. And we're going to look at the fortune teller scene in this movie, and I'm going to critique it and tell you what I think they got right and what I think they didn't get right. Okay, a little tip. I would never tell a client that I willed them to come here. I would always emphasize that it is free will and it is totally up to the client to ask for a reading. I would never insinuate somehow I wanted them to come in or I willed them to get a reading. That is considered manipulation.
I really did, and I'm so happy that it worked.
Oh, really?
I know you have a problem, a very serious problem, and I'm going to try and help you.
Another little tip is I would never say to a client, you have a serious problem, not at least until I see the cards, because that's just starting off on fear. And also, when you tell someone they have a serious problem, again, that's a little bit like manipulating them to get a reading. It's fear-based.
I think you ought to appreciate that.
After the reading. After the reading is time enough to thank me.
How much does a reading cost?
We'll try for $2. You can afford that, can't you?
Oh, sure, that's fine.
Just a little tip here. Always be clear with your client how much you charge. I often have my prices on display very clearly in my shop. So when a client walks in, they see exactly how much the reading will cost.
Have you ever had a tarot reading before?
No, I've never been to a fortune teller before.
Don't use that expression, fortune teller. It's so vulgar.
Many of the older card readers actually think the term fortune teller is vulgar. I actually have met people that don't like to be called fortune tellers, whereas I actually love it and I embrace that term because I think it just explains exactly what it is and the general public totally understand it.
I prefer to be known as a chiromancer or clairvoyant.
So she says that she prefers to be called a chiromancer. Chiromancy is palm reading, and she's not really doing palmistry in this scene. And a clairvoyant is someone who sees the future through vision. Now, some tarot readers are clairvoyants, and some clairvoyants do read tarot and some don't. So that's a bit of a loose description. She would have been better to say that she's a CARTOMANCER, someone who is reading cards, cartomancy.
Now first we must find the card that represents you.
So this is called the SIGNIFICATOR, the card that represents him. Now some people like to find the significator card at the beginning of the reading like she's doing, but it's not necessary because often a card will come up that does depict the person you're reading for anyway. But this method is fine.
If you've never had a tarot reading before, you've probably never seen cards that look like these.
So she's using the standard Rider-Waite Smith deck, very popular and common.
Our modern deck of playing cards is based on these, but most of the symbolical cards have been left out.
So by symbolical, I think she's meaning the major arcana. The major arcana has been left out, and the 52 playing cards are in there, and the 22 major arcana have been left out of the playing card deck. Not sure why she's telling him this, but that's what I think she's trying to say.
Here you are, the Knight of Cups.
What does that mean?
Because this card represents a fair young man, innocent and searching.
That's a good choice on her part. He fits the description of the Knight of Cups pretty accurately.
Take a good look at these cards, young man. They contain all the secrets of the universe.
How can a deck of cards contain all the secrets of the universe?
Each card is a symbol. Linked together properly, the total of all these symbols contains the total of man's knowledge.
Yeah, it's like putting a message into a code.
Exactly. Now, this is what crossed you. This is what crowned you. This is what is beneath you. This is what is behind you. What is before you. This is you, your house, your hopes and fears, and this is your future.
So in this scene, she's doing a classic Celtic cross, and also she's doing reversals as well. So some cards are upright and some cards are upside down. She's spending a lot of time explaining stuff to him that isn't really relevant. I mean, I would have preferred that she actually started reading the cards about him rather than explaining the history of the cards or the layout of the spread. If she was teaching him how to read cards, that would be fine, but she's actually doing him a reading.
What do you say?
How strange.
What?
There are certain lunar aspects suggested here. The moon card represents the journey into the unknown. The dog and the wolf, the fears of the mind, the deep primitive instincts in all of us. You see, the crab is attempting to climb out of the water onto the land, but it almost always sinks back again.
What does that mean?
That's exactly what I would have asked. What does that mean? I have no idea what she's trying to get across to him at this point. She's not really doing a reading, she's just describing the card and not connecting it to him at all, as far as I can see.
Be patient. I don't like to make a mistake. A mistake in this profession can be disastrous. You see, the lunar card is most unhappily placed next to the card known as the Hanged Man.
What does the hangman mean?
Ah, this is a card of profound significance. The figure shows life in suspension. It has often falsely been called a card of martyrdom, but martyrdom involves suffering. And if you will look closely at the face of the figure, you will see that it expresses deep entrancement. This card shows that a great awakening is possible. It reminds one that after the sacred mystery of death, there is the glorious mystery of resurrection.
Okay, so now I would consider this psychic babble. She's just going on about all sorts of psychic and semi-psychic type of words and symbols and gestures, and it actually means nothing. I would want my money back by this point if I was her client.
Well, is that good or bad?
My dear boy, the cards don't lend themselves to oversimplification.
Well, what about Laura?
I'm afraid she's caught in a vortex of evil. And saddens me to tell you, but you are in danger, grave danger.
What kind of danger?
Now that is a question you do not need to ask me. The answer lies already in your heart.
Well, that was disappointing. The reading was just a bunch of babble and didn't really help the client. She spent a lot of time setting up the card meanings and the spread and the significator, but she didn't actually connect to the client at all or read for him. And she left him feeling more confused than what he was when he first came into her shop. So that was my review of the fortune teller scene in the movie Night Tide, made in 1961. And this is Paris Debono of the Fortune Teller Shop.